Support and resistance. Now, majority of technical traders will use support and resistance. This is a vital tool, but let's get into it. So, now, you've heard me say support and resistance, support and resistance, support and resistance, okay, in the previous videos. But now, here's it, okay? What is support and resistance? Support and resistance, like I said, is a concept that is widely used in trading, especially, obviously in technical analysis, being, the dominant sort of analysis, which is technical analysis. Of course, a lot of traders or majority of traders would use support and resistance. So there are different ways to look at support and resistance. Different traders have their different views of identifying support and resistance. So before I give you my view, let's start with the basics of what is support and resistance. So here is an example of support and resistance in an uptrend. So as you can see, resistance is on top, support is at the bottom. Basically, support and resistance is levels where price respects. So it will get to that certain level and then bounce back. So for resistance, resistance is on top. So as you can see, price is pushing up to a certain level and it gets rejected down. So it's being resisted from, pushing further up. Then price comes down to another level and it gets supported, right? Bounces back up. So that is, lame terms for support and resistance. Now, this is, like I said, an example in an uptrend. Price will go up, pulls back, hits a support, and then continues, hits another resistance, falls back, hits another support, carries on going up, and that's how it goes on. This is an example of support and resistance in the downtrend. Remember, it stays the same. Support is at the bottom, resistance is at top. Okay, it's just now the price is in a decreasing manner. So it's exactly the same as an uptrend, just the opposite way. Now, these are predetermined levels of price, okay, of a certain security, whether it's currency pairs, whatever. Support and resistance happens, currency pairs, indices, commodities, stocks, cryptos, any security. Okay, so it is a thought that, price will tend to get to this level, stop, and then go the opposite way. Now, generally, support and resistance are levels that are denoted by multiple touches of price. So price will get to this level multiple times, okay, without breaking through, without the break and retest, right? Like I said, technical traders use support and resistance to identify price points where probabilities favor a pause or reversal. So if price pushed up and then came down and hit support, most likely that's going to continue going up. So that's one confirmation. Then you got your market structure confirmation. Oh, it made a higher low. Then you got your Fibonacci confirmation. Oh, it's 61.8%. So, support and resistance is another confirmation to determine which, where price would reach. Now, trading the bounce is buying, okay, when the price falls towards the support, okay, and then selling when the price rises towards resistance. Trading the break is buying when the price breaks past resistance, okay, and then it will retest, and then it will retest as support, and then you buy. Okay, you buy in the break, or when the price breaks down through support, so it breaks below support. Now that support becomes and acts as a new resistance, and then you sell from there. Now, plotting support and resistance levels. Common tool to use, okay, is the normal horizontal line. Keep in mind that support and resistance levels aren't exact numbers. Remember, it's zones. So in this video, I'm going to share with you, what is support and what is resistance. Now, a lot of the times, it may seem as if, your support and resistance levels get broken, but it can also be a fake out. Remember, fake out is if it breaks something and you think it's going to carry on with that direction, but it just falls opposite direction. but it's just the market testing that area. That's why we use zones. So that's why, in this video, I'll explain what is support, what is resistance. Then in support and resistance, basically 2.0, I explain how to use one line for both support and resistance. And then in the paid course, I have support and resistance version 3.0. That's the way I basically trade, support and resistance using zones. Not to say that these methods don't work. It's just, you get more advanced and those are just more accurate. However, these ways do work as well. Majority of people just use a line as support and resistance. So, obviously it works. But yeah, as you can see here, there's a support there. As you can see, the wicks break through, but price closes above. So that's acting as support. Okay, price cannot reach beyond that level. Now, like I said, you have these fake outs. That's why it is very important to wait for a clear break. Okay, not just a little one. That's why I say I consider it as like an equal high or equal low if it's like close. That's why you wait for a clear break and then you wait for a retest. I always wait for a retest. Those who are students and those who know how I trade, I will always wait for a retest. Okay. Then along the lines of other confirmations. Again, Fibonacci, I know I sound like a parrot repeating myself, but this is how to trade. I mean, you wait for your confirmations, your support and resistance, your Fibonacci, your candlesticks, whatever you're using. Okay, the more confirmation, the higher the probability that the trade will go that direction. So to help filter these breakouts, okay, it's better to think of support and resistance as zones instead of, just a horizontal line. Sometimes, for certain people, it's more accurate to look at support and resistance on a line chart than a candlestick chart, because a candlestick chart has, highs and lows, it will mislead. So if you're not using, the zone method of support and resistance, you can then just change your chart into a line chart and then base it off of that, which I'll show you. So as you can see, this is candlestick chart turned into a line chart, and you can then identify, there's your support, there's your resistance. When price breaks below a support level, that support level becomes resistance. So it becomes a new resistance. When price breaks above resistance, that resistance becomes support. I will show you on the chart. If a support level or resistance level is tested a lot without breaking, it shows that that area is very strong. So if there is a break, let's say a break of support, that means price is going to push hard down, very hard, okay, maybe for a long time. So this method works extremely well, especially with extra confirmation, once again. But like I said, next lesson I'll show you how to plot support and resistance as one, okay, which is more accurate than, put in a support level, put in a resistance level, etc. And then, like I said, in the paid course, I will show you how to do zone to zone. So that's, candlestick chart having support and resistance, and then, the line chart having support and resistance. So, it's just easier to identify it with the lines. But this is sort of the zone method. So here's an example of, support and resistance. So as you can see, this area here, there, and there. Can you see price is trying to push up, it gets rejected. Then price try to push up again, get rejected. Then price try to push up for the third time, get rejected. So this level is important. This is resistance. So you can put a line over there. So this is resistance. As you can see, price came down here, then pushed up. Came down again, same area, pushed up again. Came for the third time, rejected, pushed up again. So this is support over here. This here. That. That. And that. So resistance on top. Resistance. And support. That's resistance, that's support. As you can see, price broke past for the 4th time. So now this resistance isn't resistance anymore. It now acts as support because now remember this line is below. So now this is the new support. Let's see if it came, I don't know if it came back down to retest it. Let's see. Oh, it's still coming down. Right, it's still coming down. Here is an example of support and resistance when you put in your line chart. So what you do is you go over here and you change it to line. As you can see, here's a line chart. So if you were to put your supports and resistance, let's look here. For example, as you can see, somewhere here is resistance. So resistance, 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 or even here. Okay, let's put it there. Okay, that's resistance. So, and then over here is support. Make it bigger. So as you can see, this I'll represent the support by a green line, and then our right support. And then here is resistance. So now, as you can see, price bounces off support and resistance. So what we need to wait for is either a break above, okay, and then maybe a retest. Then we look to buy because then that resistance becomes the new support. Or a break below the support and a retest up because now the support becomes resistance, and then we look to sell. Right, so let's see what happens. So as we play on, broke below, carried on, carried on. As you can see, testing the support and resistance now. So here we would place a sell. We would place a sell. As you can see, price eventually started going further down, and we would have profited. So I mean, it's much easier, identifying support and resistance with line charts. There, I mean, the more touches, the more accurate it is. So that is support and resistance with a line chart. Now, an easy way to remember support and resistance is picture a house. Okay, so I'm going to put a roof. Here's my roof. This is my ceiling. Okay, and this is my walls. Let's make the walls a different color. Okay, and we'll make this the floor. Well, let's do this. We'll make the floor green. We'll make the ceiling red. And we'll make the walls grey. Okay, so this is the house. Let's say you come along. This is you. Just excuse my drawing. I'm not an artist. So this is you. Okay. Boom. And you have a tennis ball in your hand. Okay, you like to play with a tennis ball because you love tennis so much. But so your mom or your wife, your husband, whoever is in charge of the house, right, tells you do not play with the ball in the house. So you don't want to listen. You play with the ball in the house. So what you do is you bounce the ball so hard on the floor. So what will happen? As you bounce the ball on the floor, the floor will support the ball, okay, and push up. With the momentum, the ball will go up, hit the ceiling, come back down, hit the floor again, the floor will support it back up, hit the ceiling, okay, and that's how it will go, you know, forever up until the point that the ball loses momentum. Now the ball is the market. As you can see, it loses momentum, loses momentum, loses momentum. Can you see this looks like the market? So your ceiling acts, it's basically resistance. That's resistance. Can you see how price gets resisted away? Your floor is your support. So that's basically how support and resistance works. As soon as, let's say, the ball comes past, then your support, oops, your support is now the new ceiling. Now your support is the new ceiling. Oopsie. You see, so what will happen is there will be a new support, and then boom, that support is now resistance, and it will continue doing this up until, let's say, it breaks above. Now that resistance is now again the new support. So you always want to buy or sell on support or resistance, take profit on support and resistance. This is an easy way to remember of how support and resistance works.